The scorching iron hooves of war horses crush human skulls, and with a single volley of arrows, soldiers atop the fortress walls turn into pincushions, plunging to the earth in a spray of crimson. In the 11th century, the Khitan Empire, the Liu dynasty, and its successor, Qara Khitai, were the true masters of fear, reshaping the global order. Wherever they stepped, mountains of corpses rose from the earth, and rivers ran thick with dark, stagnant blood. Imagine it, the vibration of tens of thousands of horses galloping from the horizon, tightening your chest, followed by a thrown battle axe that splits the comrade. Standing next to you diagonally from shoulder to chest, if you saw the steam rising from between those severed bone fragments, could you really stand your ground with a sword? Today's story is not just a record of nomads expanding territory. It is a blood-soaked chronicle of the Khitan Empire, the most brutal and sophisticated killing machine in human history, and how it ravaged the world. How would you feel if you turned around at the sound of an eerie whistle to find a Khitan warrior, clad in horsehide with animal blood smeared across his mouth, cracking a whip made from a human spine? These were not just savages who were good at fighting. Khitan warriors were taught to kill as a game from birth. They savored the screams of their enemies like music. When Abaoji, the founder of the empire, was establishing his rule, he invited opposing relatives to a banquet and decapitated every single one of them before they could even finish, their first drink filling their wine cups with their own blood. Why did this madness, this slaughter that didn't stop until the hot blood on the floor reached their ankles, ever happen? On the battlefield, the Khitan army was a literal manifestation of hell. When they captured enemies, they didn't just kill them. The Khitan skinning torture was notorious. Records claim they would cut into the crown of a living victim's head and peel the skin off entirely. Later, using that hide as a seat cover for their saddles, the skinned victims would wail in unspeakable agony as the cold wind brushed their raw flesh until they finally died. Khitan warriors believed the louder the screams, the greater their own valor was proven. If you had to watch your friend become a raw pile of meat while still breathing, could you stay sane? Or would you take your own life out of pure terror? Now here comes the twist that shatters common knowledge. The Khitan were not just brutes swinging swords. They were the high-tech legion of their time. The Iron Cavalry they deployed during the wars with the Goryeo dynasty were the tanks of the 11th century. Both horse and rider were encased in thick iron plates that deflected arrows with ease. But the truly terrifying part was their psychological warfare. Before attacking a castle, the Khitan would brutally slaughter captives right in front of the fortress walls. They would rip unborn fetuses from pregnant women to roast them over fires, or impale the heads of children on spears and toss them over the walls. As the people inside lost their minds and wailed at the carnage, the Khitan would smash through the gates and massacre every last survivor. Would you beg for your life, or would you fight to the end? Specifically, during the invasion of Goryeo, the Khitan vanguard tied captives' hands behind their backs and used them as living shields to advance. When the Goryeo soldiers fired their arrows, those shafts buried themselves deep into the chests and necks of their own captured kinsmen. A cruel dilemma: kill your own people to survive. The Khitan approached with cynical smiles behind the screams of the dying. Could you pull the bowstring while looking into the eyes of a family member dying by your hand? Under this chilling tactic, the lands of Goryeo turned into pits of burning corpses. The brutality grew even more refined in Qara Khitai, Western Liu, founded after the fall of the Liu dynasty. Driven into Central Asia, they dismantled Islamic kingdoms one by one. The founder, Yelu Dashi, would chase fleeing enemies into narrow canyons, then rain down boulders and poisoned thorns from above. The paralyzed soldiers would collapse, and the Khitan would then stand their horses on the chests of the fallen, crushing their rib cages to suffocate them slowly. As the sound of shattering bones echoed through the gorge, they treated it as a victory hymn. Here is a fact that will make your skin crawl. Records show that when Khitan warriors captured an enemy general, they would place him alive in a boiling cauldron. This wasn't just an execution, it was a performance. They forced the enemy soldiers to watch their commander boil until the meat separated from the bone, completely shattering their will to fight. Could you maintain your human dignity while the stench of your own general's cooked flesh filled the air? Even within the Khitan imperial court, horrific rituals were practiced to maintain power. When an emperor died, hundreds of maids and bodyguards were buried alive with him. Some records even describe a process where mercury was poured into the mouths of the living to prevent their bodies from rotting, standing them up like taxidermied statues to serve the emperor in the afterlife. The sound of the living scratching at the walls of the underground tomb at night, surrounded by the cold, unblinking eyes of the preserved dead. This was the darkness lurking behind the golden armor. Yelu Dashi, the conqueror of Central Asia, built towers of skulls in cities that resisted him. He decapitated every man in the city and stacked their heads to create massive towers. At the very peak sat the head of the most valiant enemy general. Whenever the wind blew and ghostly wailing sound leaked through the hollow eye, sockets of the skulls, merchants passing by knew that if they didn't bow to Khitan rule, they would become just another brick in that wall. So I ask you, was the Khitan Empire a demonic host that threatened civilization, or were they great conquerors, driven by the raw survival instinct of the steppes? Wherever they swept through, not a blade of grass remained, only mountains of skulls. If you were a farmer back then and saw the Khitan banners appearing on the horizon, what would you grab first as you fled? Or would you realize there is no escape and simply wait for death? The history of the Liao and Qara Khitai is not just about changing borders. It is proof of how cruel humans can become, and how fear serves as the engine for a massive empire. They were eventually swallowed by a greater monster, the Mongols, but the scars of their slaughter sleep within the red soil of Central Asia even today. If this story sent a chill down your spine, it is because it reminds us how much blood our current peace is built upon. Did you feel the vibration of the battle axe near your neck? If you enjoyed this intriguing look at the 11th century superpower, I will return with even more shocking tales of humanity's dark side. If you saw the Tower of Skulls with your own eyes, could you walk past it with your sanity intact? Let me know in the comments. I hope the spirits of the Khitan do not disturb your sleep tonight. That's all for today. Thank you.